Hey everybody, today I want to talk to everybody about what I feel like are the two main things that you have to do, must do, if you're considering getting in the hair sheep business. And I don't mean rotating them and keeping the parasites out of them or lambing in the spring. I mean, we can all do different things, that's fine. If you want to lamb in the middle of January in a barn and keep them in a pen and worm them every 60 days, that's fine. You're still going to have to deal with the same two things I'm about to talk about, whether you're running them like me or you're running them like somebody else. Those two things to me are the most important, and it's what I tell everybody. One, you've got to focus on keeping them in. Two, you've got to keep them alive. Keeping the predators out of them is what I'm talking about. So let's talk about the first one, keeping them in. You get your sheep, you're all jacked up about them. You've heard, oh, you can keep them in with a 6-barb fence and that's fine. And you and the wife are out to dinner on a Saturday night and you're sitting there, you're ordered a steak, you're telling her about how much money you're going to make on these hair sheep. Waitress puts down a tall, frosty one right in front of you and the phone rings. It's the neighbor. Your sheep are in my freshly planted cornfield. Your sheep are in my alfalfa field. Your sheep are, they're going across the neighbor into the right of way of the road. They're here, they're there. It will ruin your night. And when you get home, as soon as you run them back in and you leave the pasture, in 20 minutes, they're going out that exact same hole. If you've got sheep, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We made it a focus on our farm to make all of our exterior fences some form of woven wire. And I've got a fencing hack that you can cheaply convert a cattle fence into a sheep-proof fence, and I will share that probably in the next video, and I'm proud of it, and it's exciting. It was a game changer for me. So I'll share that later date. But whether you're doing that, we have some 7-strand barbed wire fences on part of our farms, and it's just taking the effort to do it. You've got to keep your exterior fences tight. And there's people that even have a high tensile electric on their exterior fences, and they get along just fine. So you have got to focus before they ever get in on buttoning up your property, or it will drive you and your neighbors crazy. Second thing, keeping the predators out of them. I'm going to focus on dogs. Some people like llamas and donkeys. I don't know anything about it. I've known people to have them. They don't have them anymore. They didn't get along with them. In my mind, in my opinion, a good guardian dog's the best, but you know, I can't speak to the others, but we use dogs. Worst time of the year for us, or used to be, was probably June, July. Those coyotes are denned up. They've got pups, and they're teaching them how to hunt. And if they find a flock with no dogs and they get a lamb, because lambs are easy picking, they will be back every single night until you do something about it. But they're coming back every single night. You have got to have protection. You've got to have a good guardian dog. I would urge you, before you even get sheep, start researching it, Googling it, talking to neighbors, talking to people you know that have sheep. Hey, who has dogs? Who has trained dogs? Who has, you know, you just, the ag world is a world of contacts and connections. Just start reaching out to people about guardian dogs, learn about them, research them. You know, I had a friend of mine get into sheep a couple years ago, and I told him those two keys. I said, you got to keep them in, you got to keep them alive. He said, oh, I think my place is good enough, and yeah, we'll get a dog here one day. Guess what? He's out of the business. He couldn't keep them in. He couldn't keep the coyotes out of them. There's a lot of people that get into sheep, and the first couple of years, they're gone for those two reasons right there. So before I even consider making a phone call to buy sheep, those are the two things that I would look into first. So I hope that helps you out, and good luck to you. Thanks for listening.